Okay, so we're here with Nick and Melissa at their farm Raising Cane Ranch, and they recently went through the REDA grant and did a REAP application and got solar installed on their farm. And they're going to tell us a little bit about what motivated them to get that solar, what their energy needs are, and what they're trying to meet, and yeah, some of that. So take it away.
Yeah, why we did solar? Well, we did solar about 10 years ago. We put in a small system on a front barn that is adjacent to the road, and it was just kind of a poster of like solar, and it really looked cool, and didn't provide a lot of our energy needs, but it just provided a little. And then the Conservation District in Cary came along and said there was a new grant out there that was I interested in trying it. And so we learned a little bit about it, learned that there was a lot of good incentives, financial incentives and metering incentives. And we looked into it. We hired a company, Forecast Solar, to give us a bid. And the bid and all the incentives involved really looked like a really good deal. It was actually, we ended up spending as much for a system that's 10 times as large as our first system. But we spent the same amount of money because solar has really come down in the last 10 years. So yeah, that's primarily was the financial incentive.
Well, and I think just the environmental part of it too. I mean, we want to be able to generate clean electricity to power the farm ideally. I think the whole farm, especially as we look at branching out into a cidery operation, and it just kind of fits with our whole, I think, philosophy of how we've done farming with taking a more kind of blended ecological approach with how to integrate that with agriculture and being stewardships of this part of the river valley and everything. I think it fits with everything we've wanted to do. So.
Yeah, definitely fits. We have the space, we have the buildings to install it on, and it will provide 100% of our energy needs and possibly generate some more for the grid.
Great.
So this is our orchard where we invite the public in to come and do yew picking. We started out maybe like 8 or 9 years ago, originally with raspberries, and that was pretty successful, but at some point our raspberries started declining. They had a root rot. It was related to the drainage here in the patch. We kind of pivoted and did some other berries, blackberries, several varieties of blackberries, tayberries, and then ultimately, as our raspberries started dying here, we started replanting with apples. We have about a dozen different, mostly heirloom varieties of apples. Again, everything is organic here in the patch. And this time with the apple planting, Nick did companion planting, which for us means that around each apple tree we planted daffodils as kind of a pest deterrent. And then we also planted this large leafy plant called comfrey. Comfrey has a large taproot. It goes very deep and it brings nutrients up from deep in the soil. And then when the plants are mature, we chop the leaves down, and then those nutrients are more readily available for the apple trees. So that's the concept there. But this will probably be our first official fall opening for having apple pickers. We have some pears as well, and it's been a really fun experience in general, whether it's berries or apples, just having the public come out here and sample and pick and just relax out in the kind of more peaceful countryside. So it's been really fun.
Okay, so this is another agroforestry practice that is here on the farm, and this is alley cropping. And these are little baby cider apple trees that were established maybe about 4 years ago. And they're planted in this pretty wide spacing so that in between these rows, Nick can still cut hay for his cows. And then as these get older and more productive, this is some of the fruit that will be used for their new cidery that they're gonna do. So again, those ecological benefits, when we get trees onto the farm, lots of soil health implications, hydrologic implications, and again, this is built off of a hedgerow on an agricultural ditch. I don't know if you can turn and see that, to sort of increase that tree structure off of that waterway and get those extra benefits for that surface water as well. All right, so we're here at the back of the property. In the back there we see a riparian buffer along Swan Trail. I don't know if you can see me, I think I walked out of it. Or along Swan Trail Slough. And this right here is a little food forest that we see coming off of that native planting, that native buffer. And we've got a lot of different species combined in here. We've got some nut trees, some hazelnuts, some walnuts, some chestnuts, and then lots of different berry species. Nick here is holding Aronia Berry, which is very productive this year, it looks like. A highly nutritious berry used for its antioxidants. It's known as a superfood these days. Lots of currants planted in here, which you guys have found a pretty good market for this year. And you guys are doing U-pick for a lot of the berries, which are now productive. The trees are going to take longer to be productive, but right now, while those trees are getting bigger, we have these berries that are productive. So yeah, really cool little multi-species system in here, making that native riparian buffer off the waterway larger and adding that ecological benefit to this space. So, anything you guys want to say?
You said it.
Do you see more birds? Do you think this is bringing birds that are coming to eat berries, or just is this habitat for, you know?
No, I don't see a whole lot of different birds yet.
But it will be probably.
I can imagine.
You're not having problems with birds getting to your berries?
No birds really
Okay.
eating these berries,
Okay.
and the deer haven't really chewed up much. Haven't
Okay.
seen much foraging
Deer
from
pressure.
there, and then I'd imagine once the nuts get really moving, we'll get some squirrels eventually. We don't really have squirrels back here.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Cool. All right. Good.
Oh.
All right, so we are here in actually the native riparian buffer that is planted along Swan Trail Slough. And there's this beautiful little pathway through here that you can see. And this buffer, about how old is this buffer? When did you guys get this planted? Do you remember? Is it about
No, I don't know
10,
that
maybe?
answer. 7 years ago. When did we plant
7,
this riparian
8?
buffer? See, you
Oh,
need to
it's
be in
about
this
10.
thing with me.
It's about 10, so probably about 10 years old. So we can see it's gotten a lot of great growth already in 10 years and it really doing its job well, but also providing this beautiful walkway, this beautiful space that people can walk through and can see all the new bird species that have been invited to the farm now that this lovely plant life is in here and these trees and shrubs. And yeah, it's just become this really beautiful feature of the farm and provides this great ecological benefit to the waterway that flows through here.
Yep. And I'm sure that there's, with the trees during kind of flood season, that is helpful for absorbing excess water back here. The only challenge we've had is that we have to deal with beavers a little more.
Right.
They also like these trees, so that's been a little bit of a trick to figure out, how to deal with them. But I'd say that's pretty mild compared to all the, pluses and the enjoyment we get out of it.
Great. All right. Thanks.
Yeah, there's some stressful stuff
Yeah.
that goes on.
Well, yeah,
Yeah. Like you say, women are stressed, pregnant women are stressed right now.
I bet. Yeah, yes. Yeah.
Come on, Pucky.
Oh, that big guy. Oh my goodness.
That's a big buffalo.
Hi, everybody. Well, thank you guys so much for letting us do this.
Oh yeah, he's gonna dig right now. That's like
Oh,
the
that's,
pole.
there we go. Good action shot. Oh, how nature. Oh, that feels good.
Up. Oh, he like digs his horn down in there and brings up all the dirt and
Scratch that
dust.
neck. He must be really mellow.
He's very mellow.
To keep kind of keep him with everyone.
Yep. Whoa. There's a shot for you. That got him very excited.
A very happy man.
Wow. Watch out, everybody. Run away, girls. Look at. Oh. Cinnamon and Red are going to find it too.
No more digging.
Yeah. Legit flies biting them on their belly.
Yeah.
I think they like to kick up the dirt. Everyone's gonna swallow in the dirt hole.
Yeah.
Our females are kind of limpy